I am frequently asked the question about emotions, emotional trauma, and what that does in the human body. And it does play a actually massive role in how our body operates on a day-to-day basis when we look at fascia, muscle tissue, and nerve. And here's why. Any type of emotions that we're going to experience are going to travel from our brain down a nerve, and they're going to attach to a certain area of our body. That certain area of our body is surrounded by fascia, and it's probably moving through the fascia to get there. When it arrives and we experience that emotion, it becomes stuck. Even if the emotion diminishes, it actually is still stuck in this certain area. Now, if you get raging mad or angry, your heart's beating, you got a lot of tension up in the head, neck, and shoulders, okay? If you start to get butterflies in your stomach, you're nervous for some reason, okay? Those butterflies, those emotions, they're gonna stay in one of the biggest areas of fascia, concentrated fascia, in our digestive system. When they stay there, they can create problems. They can cause issues later on down the line that might be seemingly unrelated. Studies have shown that even sleeping, when not releasing the emotions, will actually reinforce them. All right, so think about that next time you and your partner have a little bit of a tiff before you go to sleep and, I'm just gonna sleep on it now and we'll feel better in the morning. You are actually going to reinforce, your brain reinforces those emotions while you sleep, and you wake up, they're not gone yet. You might think that they are. And the reason the brain does this is for protection. So emotions get stuck in fascial channels, affect our organs, and then actually affect our muscle tissue and how they act and react, because our brain, our fascia, our nervous system is trying to protect us from something that it deems harmful. You have something like a car accident and that trauma gets stored. You have a bad fall and that trauma gets stored. That emotion gets stored somewhere in the body. And then what do? We wake up the next day, we go about our daily life, our business. My hip hurts just a little bit, but I'm fine. And before the end of the day comes, we're actually finding ourselves joking about it a little bit. Well, 4, 5, 6 years down the line, what happens? We start to get a bum hip on that side where we fell 6 years ago. We're not making that connection. We just think that my hip hurts. The fact of the matter is that when we incur trauma, we're not going to feel the full effects of it until movement through the years keeps on creating more and more resistance in that area, entangling the fascia, getting the joint to maybe grind, getting the tendons to not track properly, and then we have pain. One of the things that we want you guys to understand here at Pso-Rite is that our products are created to release the fascia and subsequently these emotions in the most versatile and in the most speedily way possible. You look at foam rollers, any type of lacrosse ball or baseball and whatnot, and you're not going to have the versatility there. You're not going to have the hardness there, especially when it comes to something like a foam roller. You're not going to be able to get deep enough into the fascia to actually open these emotions up and get them out, okay? Help the body process them more naturally. A lot of people that I've worked with, they do have a mini meltdown while they're working with me. They have no idea why they're crying or where these emotions are coming from. And once again, if they do enough digging and if they look back long enough, they can actually pinpoint where these emotions are coming from. So here's my story. This is a long time ago. I was laying on the Pso-Rite and I was opening up some tight tissue on the right side of my leg. And as I was working in that area, I hit something that made me jump. Very, very tender, very sore. It was a small nodule, probably the size of a quarter. And as I was working with the Pso-Rite peak on the outside of my right leg, this pain was very, very familiar with me. So I started to try and remember the last time that I had felt that. And the conclusion that I came to was senior year during two-a-days playing football for my high school. Now, at that time, I was about 38, 39 years old. And what I had realized was that trauma from, I don't know if I got hit, I don't know if I just overexerted myself exercising, that trauma was stored in my leg. So what happens to that leg or that fascia when I want to run, jump, squat or deadlift heavy, or when I need to call upon that muscle to work in an optimal fashion? It's going to shut down. It's not going to conduct the message from my fascia, from my brain, as well as other areas. That's going to be basically a weak point in my armor. The Pso-Rite products are developed so we can get deep enough into the fascia, fast enough to where you don't have to spend hours on it every single day, to help release the emotions from day-to-day trauma, to help release all of the emotions that you are feeling or not feeling, to help release all the emotions that are getting stuck so you can then live in an optimal way, or what we would like to say, living so right.